Alrighty, guys, we're back for Ajani's Cats, and this is a Foundation Standard Brew, and I'm Red Cat. Let's briefly go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked. But first things first, this was a suggestion over in the Discord, so thank you so much for the suggestion. It's gonna be a fun one. Actually, I have a couple different versions of Ajani in here. We have Ajani Sleeper Agent and Ajani Caller of Pride. This is a 3-mana 4 loyalty legendary planeswalker with a +1. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Okay. Has a -3. Target creature gains flying and double strike until end of turn. Okay. And then it has a -8. Create X 2/2 white cat creature tokens where X is your life total. Cool stuff, but only making the cut as a 1 of this time, mainly because it has double white in the casting cost. But honestly, that shouldn't hold us up too often. But Ajani, Sleeper Agent here, is a 4-mana 4 loyalty, a completed legendary planeswalker. So it has that whole completed mana if you want to do that and have it come out with fewer loyalty counters. I think more often than not, though, we want this to come out as a 4-mana planeswalker. Has a +1 where you reveal the top card of your library. If it's a creature or planeswalker card, put it into your hand. Otherwise, you may put it on the bottom of your library. So if we check here real quick, we got 28 creatures and 4 planeswalkers. So 32 total cards to hit with that +1 on the Ajani. So yeah, over 50%. Seems pretty decent for this deck list, right? Now the -3, however, probably what it's really in here for. You distribute 3 +1/+1 counters among up to 3 target creatures, and they gain vigilance until end of turn. Cool. And then it has a -6 that I'm actually not going to take the time to go over because I don't know how often we actually even want to activate it in here. And we have some powerful kitty cats packed in. Arahbo, the first Fang, is a 3-mana 2/2. Other cats you control get +1/+1. Whenever Arahbo or another non-token cat you control enters, create a 1/1 white cat creature token. Beautiful stuff. We also have Kutzil, Malamet Exemplar. The 3-mana 3/3. Your opponents can't cast spells during your turn. Okay. Whenever one or more creatures you control, each with power greater than its base power, deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. That should be really easy to do in here, guys, because, you know, it could be as simple as Arahbo, but then also we have a bunch of cards in here that give +1 counters, like Ajani Sleeper Agent, the other Ajani, Caller of Pride, right? Or they just give counters to themselves, like Skyknight Squire. It's a 2-mana 1/1. Whenever another creature you control enters, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. As long as this creature has 3 or more +1/+1 counters on it, it has flying and is a knight in addition to its other types. Dang, dude, this is going to have a huge target on its back. It was good the last time I played with it. I think it's going to be terrific this time. We have other kitty cats packed in. We have Helpful Hunter. It's just going to be a 2-mana 1/1. When it enters, draw a card. So a cat that replaces itself, I actually think is going to be pretty darn valuable in here. We have 3 Leonin Vanguards, and we have 3 Savannah Lions here as well. And then the most powerful of all the kitty cats, Llanowar Elves. Actually, not a cat. However, I am valuing that early ramp more than just more early cats, right? I think the early ramp is going to be super duper important. We actually have more early ramp here too with Twitching Doll. It's a 2-mana 2/2. You can tap it to add 1 mana of any color. Then you put a nest counter on Twitching Doll. Now, even though it looks like a cat, it is just a spider toy, so it does not fit the cat theme, but I still think it's going to be pretty decent in here as the 2 of. Now, the bottom ability is you can tap it, sack it, create a 2/2 green spider creature token with reach for each counter on Twitching Doll, activate only as a sorcery. So it might seem like a little bit of an odd pick, but I think it's going to pair beautifully with everything in here, especially this top end, guys. Doubling Season, 5-mana enchantment. If an effect would create 1 or more tokens under your control, it creates twice that many of those tokens instead. And then if an effect would put 1 or more counters on a permanent you control, it puts twice that many of those counters on that permanent instead. And then, of course, Twitching Doll generating a bunch of spiders will obviously boost the Skyknights that you have on the board too by each of those spiders. A whole bunch of +1/+1 counters going on to these Skyknights. Going to be so easy to get this into the air. But what about the removal in here, guys? We got a couple Hunter's Talent, actually. So the top ability is just a bite effect, level 2. Whenever you attack, target attacking creature gets +1/+0 and gains trample, which of course will pair beautifully with that Kutzil ability. And then the bottom level 3 will obviously help us draw when it comes time. Lonely Get Lost. Is that enough removal? No. We should probably have more removal packed in, but we'll see. We'll see. Maybe we'll talk more about that in the final thoughts, right? Did I go over the top end kitty cats, guys? We also have a Regal Caracal and also a Sovereign packed in too. I'm actually not going to take the time to read those, but yeah, they'll pair nicely with everything in here. I don't know why I forget if I went over these top end. Okay, a bunch of dual lands packed in with the Verge, the Thicket, a couple prairies. We have a Cavern of Souls calling kitty cat more often than not, and then a couple Fabled Passage too. We're heavily leaning towards the plains. That's what the deck is leaning towards. That being said too, the Verge is just going to be a green source until you actually see your forest or your plain. So kind of important. That's also why the Fable is in here to grab those out. Honorable mentions, guys. I almost went the life gain route with Ajani's Pride Mate, and if we did go the life gain route, I would have had Flanker as a 3-drop as well. Prideful Parent is going to be a great budget trade out, and actually, I just don't think it's a bad card, even though it looks really janky in the right list. I think it works well. And then Claws Out almost made the cut as well. Okay, guys, I do my damnedest to save the more in-depth discussion for the end of the video, and sometimes I fail. Either way, let's go ahead and take this into some ranked and see how we do. Right into that first game, guys. What am I expecting from the build? I actually think it's going to be pretty decent, but we'll see. We'll see. Opponent goes first. I don't see anything wrong with this hand. We're going to try a turn 2. Well, hold on now. Oh, Heartfire Hero. Anything we play probably gets burnt. All right, well, one of the Llanowar Elves then, because if Llanowar Elves gets burnt, then we won't go the Arahbo for turn 2, which is totally fine and dandy because we'll still have Squire for turn 2. That's a shock that's not hitting our face, which is super important. And technically, we could go Prairie into the other Elves if we wanted to. Ajani. Yeah, I don't want the Squire to get burnt away, but I think any creature we play is going to get burnt away, guys. With Hired Claw and the Shock, it's probably just mono red burn at that point, right? Go for that full swing. There's definitely no block we want to take, but let's see what the opponent ends up doing here. Just going to activate the Hired Claw ability. That would be pretty good for us. Okay, down to 14. We have a chance. More 1-drops is not terrible. Right, we have to get the first Fang down, right? We don't want to just dump a couple 1-drops onto the board. That Llanowar Elves from earlier definitely would have helped out. See, now Squire has a chance of blocking well. The question is, do we want to block or do we want to try to outpace? If we go for the block, Squire probably dies to something like a Monstrous Rage. We could die to something like a Monstrous Rage too, let's be real, right? But at least we have a chump blocker with this kitty cat. I think we have a chance of actually outpacing with the double strike on the Ajani too. So we'll see what ends up happening here. We do have to note, of course, Restless Prairie is coming out tapped, so we don't have the 4th in hand right now. So 4 on the board. The opponent's at 16. We do see an untapped mana. Squire goes to 5. Double strike would be 14 on the board. So we still need an extra turn. We'll attempt the block on the Swift Spear over the hero, I guess, because if they go Monstrous Rage on hero, the hero dies, and then we're taking a whole bunch of damage. Oh, it wouldn't have died. I don't know why I was thinking that would have died there, but it still would have been really bad, right? The trample still would have gotten through anyways. We're down to 5. Ajani is still a bit of a surprise. This is the land for the turn. That's all we have. But we have our entire hand we can just dump onto the board. This Skyknight's actually going to be insane. Untapped mana. Oh, wait a minute, guys. Yeah. Untapped mana. We would have gotten the additional cat off the... Oh, wow. So now if we keep a blocker, there's no guarantee. I guess we try to win next turn then, right? Since we can't win this turn, we only have 11 on the board. Now we keep the blocker and try to win next turn. However, Hero's going to get through regardless. We need to chump. I guess no attacks. Oh, this is awkward, guys. This is awkward. Because earlier too, if I would have opted for the Restless Prairie, then we would have had 4-on-4, right? Things would have been a little bit different. Down to 3. Ah, GG opponent. Guys, hold on. I think we had a chance. I do. Hold on. Let's take a look at the board. First of all, I still have fun thinking through these puzzles game. Skyknight Squire. Yeah, if we had the 4th untapped, then it would have been Savannah Lions, right? Boost the Squire, and then get a cat off the Arahbo, boost the Squire, Ajani, double strike the Squire, right? And then what that meant too is we shouldn't have taken the block then as well. We blocked the Swift Spear. We should have just taken the extra damage, because that would have meant double strike on the Squire. What was the Squire at? And then 4 on the ground too, and that was a full swing. That's what we probably should have done anyways, because there was still a chance that we drew into an untapped mana as well. Guys, yeah. I think we could have gotten there. I think that Ajani really can be explosive enough. And I'll tell you what, being that explosive against a equally explosive deck, right? Like those mono red burns. A lot of them aren't mono red. They're actually going Boros for the Boros charm and stuff. Those lists look really, really good. And Lightning Helix too is something that Boros gets to run. Yeah, like early untapped source. If that Restless Prairie holds us up in a couple more games, then I will consider going up a different dual land, but we'll see, It's just the deck list knows how to go wide, so I think Restless Prairie will really come in handy. I see nothing wrong with this hand. I actually think it's really good. A Coffiny Scamp. Okay. All right, let's get that Savannah Lions down and think about that Twitching Doll. We also got to see in that first game how, if Llanowar Elves would have survived, how good our lineup actually was. Let's see if they pop the Scamp to pop the Lions. It's a very similar concept if we just block. If we block, then they just deal the 1 damage to our face. This gives us a chance of keeping the Lions around, which we obviously prefer here. Manifold Mouse is a problem. Our turn just turned into Hunter's Talent, unfortunately, but yeah. Hunter's Talent. Get rid of that Manifold Mouse. I don't plan on blocking, so we swing. And we shown in that last game that we can totally push that damage through, man, so... If that shock didn't hit Llanowar Elves in that first game, it would have hit our face. So that's also something to consider, right? Because we were going to be in danger regardless. But yeah, I think if that Elves was still on that board from the beginning, it would have changed our line of play a little bit, though. The Arahbo would have come down first, potentially over the Squire. Oh, wow, our one of Ajani again. I'm okay with that. A little bit awkward right now because we don't know if we're getting that 4th mana off the top. Witching Doll might be the choice. So we can do multiple things next turn. Maybe. Start with the swing. I still don't plan on blocking with the Savannah Lions. See what the opponent does here. Nothing with their 1 mana. Crap. Okay, I should play the Kutzil. Running that into a lightning strike, at least the lightning strike isn't hitting our face. It's a similar concept with the Twitching Doll, where I was gonna go Twitching Doll for the sake of just being able to do 2 things next turn, Hunter and Squire, but pretty sure Twitching Doll would have an equal amount of pressure put onto it as the Kutzil. Where Kutzil, actually, we're spending all 3 of our mana. It is a 3/3. It has a chance of blocking, probably not though. But then it also gives us a chance of card draw here soon too. We want to go like Ajani plus, for example. If they didn't have a chump blocker here, which they now have a chump blocker with the Manifold Mouse. However, that's not a great chump blocker, so they probably just want to keep that around. With 1 mountain open and the style of deck list this is, I can only imagine it's a Monstrous Rage, and they would do maximum amount of damage by putting the Rage on the Challenger, but they would kill our Kutzil by putting it on Scamp, and then Scamp dies too. This is where we take the risk of a block, as if we don't block, it's still a tremendous amount of damage. It's going to be a turn inside out, so it actually doesn't have trample, but the Scamp still gets the 4 through down to 6. And they get to Manifest Dread too. Crap, that's worse than the trample, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, because now they have more on the board. Okay, Vanguard isn't bad. We're really stuck between a rock and a hard place versus these super aggro decks, huh? Gonna go Squire into Vanguard, boost the Squire for the turn, get a little bit of life gain, which is not bad. And I hope keeping the blockers back this time. See, I think if it was Monstrous Rage, that it would have been Monstrous Rage last turn, so we actually have a chance of chump blocking then. So we keep the Savannah Lions back this time for chump blocking. And of course, we want to chump block the double striking Challenger. So we'll see, we'll see. Gonna be Mountain. Okay. Okay. Chump. And see what happens. And it's gonna be Savannah Lions, because Vanguard can continue to help us gain life. If we die here, I think it is what it is. I want to keep the creatures. Sure, we could try more chumps, right? We could go Manifold Mouse, block the Squire, see what happens there. It is a Monstrous Rage this time. Well, like I said, it is what it is. Even if we would have blocked more, then the double strike trample on the Challenger was going to get them there regardless. The early Hunter's Talent onto the first Manifold Mouse was actually really, really good, wasn't it? This is an example game where more removal would obviously help. However, more removal means less kitty cats. So how do we ever find the balance, man? Man. All right, let's keep the ball rolling. I think we can easily roll it into some victories. Yeah, against the super aggro, so far, we are not favored, I would say. I'd say those are very tough matches. We go first. That's great news. Holding back on Savannah Lions isn't great. Like, you see Squire in hand, and you're very tempted to just be like, well, I want to play my creatures after, right? But just getting your turn 1 down is going to be more important, because you can always find more turn 1s when it comes time. Start with the swing. See what they do to the Lions. See if they want to shock that away. I'll tell you what would be a great shock, the Squire. So I guess it's a shock that's not hitting our face, and I also don't want them to clear away the Twitching Doll. Especially if we play around a Ghost where they don't have it. Burst of Lightning. Alright, Swiss Spear. Jeez, man. Hopefully we can see some variety today. Again, this is going to be another tough battle, for real, even though we went first. Alright, Restless Prairie. I think we can try to outpace. We're going to go for the swing, get the twitching doll down. Johnny is probably going to go plus, man. We just got to find more. More of our creatures, more of anything. Lava Runner. They just swing with the Lava Runner. That's probably a good sign. Because if they had something... Okay, it's going to be a Pyromancer. Down to 12, guys. Another Ajani. Honestly, not bad. The Vigilance and everything's really good too. If we go -3 for the turn... We don't want to... We're at the range of the Restless Prairie, too. I think we just need to find more, guys. And, but the Vigilance is so good. The double block would be terrible for them. The trade wouldn't be bad for us. Okay, I'll go -3. Since we have the other Ajani in hand, too. Oh, that's right. We get to put an extra one on the Savannah Lions, too. That's really good. Okay, nice, nice. Go for the swing. They might just take the 7. A double block would be really good for us, man. Okay, opponent's thinking about this because if they take 7 down to 9, then they could be on the run. They actually dropped the concede, guys. There we go. All right, a little bit of revenge versus mono red burn or mono red aggro, I guess, because that last game wasn't just burn. It had all the mice and everything packed in too, right? So, but I can only imagine this one's leaning burn because of the Lava Runner and the Pyromancer, but So, first of all, I would have loved to completely play that out, but I also just completely understand the concede here. Stuck between a rock and a hard place, double block would be beautiful for us. Them taking the damage would be beautiful for us. So, depending on what was in their hand, if they didn't have much, they decided that's that. And I'll tell you what, the Sleeper Agent in the right build, first of all, I'm glad I decided on the -3. Especially since we were able to boost the Savannah Lions above just a trade. Opponent goes first. Look, Helpful Hunter replaces itself, and we have all the mana we need for the whole game. I think we try this. It might be... This is a lot of land, don't get me wrong. So, somewhere in the middle of this game, maybe we'll talk about why it should have been a mulligan, but we'll see. For now, stick into it. The second Helpful Hunter was a really good draw. All right, Kutzil is the play for the turn, right? Yeah, I don't mind that at all. We're not going to be drawing off of it yet, but going right into our 3-mana card. Okay, I can imagine this is open spot removal. Sultai, though, what we've been seeing is actually Squirming Emergent Sultai runs Bitter Triumph. There's the Bitter Triumph. They actually go for our ramp, Llanowar Elves. Like I said when I'm going over it, right? And the most powerful of the kitty cats. That's funny, man. Right, that was a great target because now we can't dump our hand. So, also getting... Bellow. Okay, well. We'll play Plains, Squire. And that's it for the turn. I guess we should have swung first, done that during our main phase 2. But the opponent was tapped out anyways. Still good practice. When it doesn't affect combat. Picklock Prankster. Kiora, nice. Nice. That's one we gotta try soon. Because Threshold is easy, man. 7 or more cards in your graveyard doesn't even have to be permanents. That's what we found out when we played Rats not too long ago. Threshold is easy. All right, so we start with Helpful Hunter number 1. Here we see. Wow, Regal Caracal. Wow, dude. Holy cow, we get to keep... If we get to... first of all, Verge is just a Selesnya dual land right now, so we'll get that onto the board. If we get to keep our kitty cat board state, we're going to draw on the Squire here, thanks to the Kutzil. Or draw on the Kutzil thanks to the Squire. I guess either way worked. Okay, this is a little bit of a flood, but I did keep a hand with 4 mana, so... Skirming Emergence. It's the Bellow of the Woods. There's the land. Oh, buddy, that's a 9/9. Oh, buddy, how do we get around that without removal? Oh. It's more mana. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. All right. We stick to the plan. They got all the mana they need for the rest of the game. Stick to the plan. Yeah, I mean, we have to. We literally have to go. What really sucks here is this has reach. Kind of breaks my heart, you know, but we still full swing. Because if we don't, yeah, we still full swing. They're going to block the 7/7, obviously, but they take 8. If we don't, they just block the 4/4, they just take 4, and we have a 7/7 here on the board, just ready to die to spot removal. More mana off the top. The game is not agreeing with us right now. Right, so... Bitter Triumph, yep. Popping the Fables. Of all the cards to draw into off the Kutzil, I can't believe we have a full hand of lands right now, guys. It's too bad Restless Prairie wasn't already on this board state. But coming in tapped meant no Caracal last turn, so we couldn't have just played this unless we found a better time earlier. Wail of the Forgotten. Get rid of one of the planes. They returned one of our tokens. Yeah, opponent's in this, dude. We are in desperate need to see more off the top. That isn't mana. They also get a swing with the Bellow of the Woods. We'll just take it, of course. They get the swing because of the Vigilance. And Vigilance is always underestimated, but Vigilance always comes in handy. It's another Wail of the Forgotten, guys. Yeah. Anyone's game, I now think it is heavily leaning towards the opponent, as we need something terrific to get this 4 damage through. And by something terrific, I mean, like, even a boost to this board state doesn't matter, because they could easily just clear up the boost, because our boosts are creatures. They also find another blocker. So Restless Prairie comes down for the turn. Vanguard comes down for the turn. That's actually not terrible. Go back up to 27. We'll see what we can get done. So full swing, we get 1 through. Not worth it. We'd rather try to boost the board state with the Restless Prairie next turn. Man, I'll tell you what. Okay, founding the 3rd path. Pretty much anything they grab here is going to be pretty decent. It looks like they do go for the 3rd. I figured that was what was about to happen since they had so much in the grave. Squirming Emergence. Oh no, Harvester of Misery is probably the grab. Oh, I'm sorry, opponent. I'm holding you up. I'm sorry. Well, some of our spot removal could be good. With how much mana we saw this game, I could see dropping a mana. However, I think that the deck list is usually going to be very, very expensive, very greedy with this mana. That's why I opted for early ramp too with the Llanowar Elves. Yeah, I think this is a GG. I think the opponent pulled this back easy peasy. And I think it was also looking pretty darn good for us at a moment there. Okay, Picklock Prankster. plenty of chump blockers. Go ahead and swing. We just go ahead, take that. I don't know what we could see off the top, man, but we're going to play it out because the opponent has so much on the board that... okay, Llanowar Elves, okay. It's something. It's a creature. It's not land, that's important. So 3-3, yeah, if we still had that wide board state, we'd still have trouble pushing through because they still have so much. So even if it wasn't a Harvester of Misery and they still had 4 creatures, we still wouldn't have the 4 damage. But Harvester of Misery, of course, cleaning up 3 of our creatures is pretty brutal. This was a card that we saw an opponent playing in Reanimator like a long while ago. And I was just like so surprised that I didn't see more of it. And I'm sticking by that, man. Harvester of Misery. Because it also has that bottom ability too, where you can discard it into the grave anyways. Target creature gets -2/-2 until end of turn. And then eventually you just bring it back with your reanimation cards. I like it. So Atraxa restocks their hand, guys, and this is wow. They also have more for the turn for some reason. It's going to be a cease. They draw a card. They get rid of some of our cards in the grave. Full swing. The menace is going to be breaking through here. Those have vigilance, so they might as well swing. Playing around an Elspeth Smite, maybe. We're going to take the 16. Yeah, they don't know what this last card is. They might be playing around an Elspeth Smite, but with Atraxa on the board, we'd have to... I mean, we'd really have to pull something off, huh? We'll play it all out. Vanguard before combat actually affects combat. We're going to go for the fun swing, man. Let's do it. See what the opponent does. Of course, they have the block with the Atraxa anyways, but... There's their blocks. They block. Oh, they didn't even double block the Llanowar Elves. They actually just took the 2. They go back up to 11. We get the draw then, too, because Llanowar Elves got through, and we actually ended up drawing into more mana. Wow. Hey, good game, opponent. It was a good game. These Squirming Emergent builds, I'll tell you what, you got to keep your eye on them, man. Especially with the new Kiora. Any other new cards? Yeah, Omniscience. Omniscience is one that these Squirming Emergence builds runs. For Sultai, guys. For Sultai, is one of the things holding Sultai up the mana base? What kind of cards are they rocking over here? They got Underground. They got the Restless Reef to help mill themselves. Got some life gain. They got more Surveil. They have early green and blue. Hedgemate. So a lot of the Surveil land packed in here. Picklock, Prankster. The Bellow of the Woods is probably just a one of. Unless they have all 4 Fabled Passage in here. That's another way to mana fix in triple color decks, right? Fabled Passage is pretty darn good, depending on how greedy the rest of your cards actually are, too. As far as mana goes. Yeah, just kind of looking at the opponent's deck list. Admiring how far Squirming Emergence has come, because they've been pretty scary deck lists since Foundation, so we'll see. Guys, 33 minutes in, gonna go another one. Totally have time for one more. We can totally end on a high note. And then also, guys, hey, I forget if I brought this up for some reason, but while I have you here towards the end of the video, make sure you check out that description where we do have that Discord link, as well as that Patreon link too, if you're interested in joining either of those up. Or supporting the channel that way. Like, this deck list was totally a Discord suggestion, so you guys can drop suggestions over in the Discord. I always look at those. And the Patreon as well as a great way to get your suggestions on the channel. Then also, guys, well, hold on one second. Opponent goes first. Could be a risky hand. I'm going to give it a shot, though. Maybe a Twitching Doll on turn 2. And there's a lot to draw into here, too. So, a lot of 1-mana cards. Restless Prairie kind of holding us up, so we don't need a 1-mana card. Restless Prairie is our turn 1. Swamp. Ruthless Negotiation. We're farthest away from the Ajani. So, Unfortunately, that's what we're sending because we don't know how long it's actually going to take to get there. Okay, Prairie. Anyways, guys, hey, about that whole YouTube side of things, if you like the video, make sure you actually drop it a like. And if you enjoy the channel, then consider subscribing as well. It really does help out the channel. So thank you guys. And if you subscribe, then you get, like, I guess you get shown more of my videos. I guess that's a thing that happens. We'll try one of the 3 Skyknight Squires. More mana, of course, would be terrific here. They take the Twitching Doll for a very good reason, I would say. All right. Skyknight Squire number 2. Let's see what these swamps do to us, huh? Sheoldred's Edict number 1. I think we can find our 3rd. And our 3rd into Kutzil and a swing with Squire could pull us back. It's another Squire. We saw all 4 Squires. Actually not terrible though, right? What we're going to do then is we're going to stop dreaming with the Squire and we're going to start drawing with the Hunter. Because I'm pretty sure the Squire is going to die. And then Hunter at least replaces itself and gets us closer to finding our 3rd mana. Which is probably what we should have done last turn. But I was hoping and dreaming that the Squire would do something. But Hunter's just a little bit better here. Nice. We do find our 3rd. And that is actually a beautiful showcase as to why we should have just done that last turn too, guys. So, and its talent, bro. Now I'm gonna keep dreaming with the Squire though. Now that we found our 3rd, now I'm gonna keep both of these in hand. We'll see what ends up happening. Yeah, 4th mana. It's tapped though. It's tapped, but that's okay. It's something. We could double down on Squires next turn, but we're probably going to have to discard whatever we don't play, which means we do want Kutzil on the board. And we'll see what ends up happening here. This is oh, nice. I'll take that trade all day. Twitching Doll back to hand could be our discard now. Sheoldred's Edict. Now we know why they took the trade. Right. So the opponent's starting to fizzle out, guys. Opponent's starting to fizzle out. We go for it. The Dream. The Squires. Yeah, let's go. Then, again, Twitching Doll is our discard if it comes down to that. They might draw here on the Ruthless Negotiation. Oh! Rankle's Prank was their last card? Opponent. I am like completely stunned, dude. Holy cow. It got to the point where I was like, wow, this is looking really good for us. Rankle's Prank. Untapped source off the top would be huge for us. It is an untapped source. This is great. This is really great news. We can still do this, guys. That Rankle's Prank was a 4-for-1, though. A 4-for-1. Each player discards 2 cards. It was their last one. Each player loses 4 life. That doesn't really matter right now. And then each player sacrifices 2 creatures. They had no creatures. Ruthless Negotiation. Back from the grave. Going down to 8 here. They got 2 cards in hand. And Vanguard is not terrible. However, we just see what they do. Probably are forced to chump this turn. The Prairie, the base power of the Prairie, how does that work? They take it down to 5. We draw off the Kutzil. What's the base power of the Prairie? Since it's a land, it becomes a 3/3. That's probably the base power then, 3/3, because it says becomes a 3/3, right? Hey, my Ajani! Oh, another deep cavern back. Oh no, guys. Oh no. They're gonna swing because we're gonna take another 2. So now we're on the clock for sure. Yeah, they got 4 on the board. we still have the power on the what am I saying? I'm still so taken aback by this whole match, dude. Holy cow. Holy cow, this is one of those ones I've been saying it a lot. You can either cry or laugh, and sometimes it's a little bit of both. Oh, jeez. I'm thinking opponent. One second, because this is our last turn, guys. It's our last turn. We could try to block on the ground, but then they get 2-3 in the air, and then they pass back talent, deals the last 2. If we power up prayer, if we swing with 3, they don't know it's in hand. So we might get the 3 through. Similar concept though, right? The life gain on the Vanguard could have been pretty good. So there's really nothing we can do here, I would say. If you guys see something different, let me know. But I don't really see anything different here. They can take the 4 if they want, but they do end up blocking just in case. They go back up to 7. We get 2 cards back in hand, but then that is game. They can swing with the Raven Man. We'll get the GG ready. Guys, I gotta be... Wait a minute. We have 3 cards in hand. Guys, we're alive. Oh, and it's untapped mana too. Okay. Okay, well, hold on just a minute. Can we get this 7 through? Ajani, because we can't power up the Prairie. Ajani's just double strike. We got 1 card in hand here. We can have a blocker on the ground there. We can swing for 6. No, we swing for 7. And we want to do Vanguard before combat for the life gain up to 3, right? We got there. Huh. Huh. I gave in to despair, guys. There was no reason. There was no reason to be sad. So there were so many instances there where I just thought for sure, just for sure, 100%, it was going to be the opponents, man. But they needed to keep a chump blocker back with the Raven Man. Right? I believe so. They swung with this, right? I can't remember. I mean, it's tapped, so they must have swung with this. I don't believe they activated the ability or anything. Anyways, the level 2 ability here, it's specifically if that player has 1 or fewer cards. And I was just sitting here thinking like, oh man, it's going to be 2 from that. And then they got the 2 no matter what, but they blocked with both bats, which means we still had 3 cards in hand, which was beautiful. They didn't have us discard any of those. That passed back. We didn't die. Something else, dude. That was so close. And I don't think it would have been that close at all if they didn't have that Rankles prank. That Rankles prank was wild, man. Holy cow. Okay, whew. All right, let's go over this deck list again, huh? We're 43 minutes in. Wait a minute. End of video pack? Yeah, Foundations. Let's do it. All right, 1,000 Year Storm. Awesome. I think that might be my second one now. And I might have one when it was originally printed too. So maybe we got 3 of these if we want to build around it at some point. It'd probably be a pretty janky version of Izzet, but janky's fun. I wonder now. Let's see. It is my 3rd overall 1,000 Year Storm. Cool. All right, guys. Ajani's Cats. Mana base. 23. Probably right where we want it. Elves and Twitching Doll. Like Twitching Doll didn't do anything today. Has a huge target on its back. I still think the mana fixing and everything else with it is going to be pretty darn cool, especially when paired with Doubling Season and especially when paired with the Skyknight Squire as well. When you are trying to dump your hand onto the board with, when you have Squire and everything on the board, Llanowar Elves is really going to come in handy. Not only is it a 1 mana card that you're dumping onto the board anyways, boosting the Squire easily with 1 mana cards, but now also it's a 1 mana card that you're tapping to play more of your creatures anyways. And as you ramp into your 3 drops with the Llanowar Elves, sometimes it's your, sometimes it's like your turn 3, you play your 3rd and you can still play Vanguard and an Arahbo, and all of that was after your turn 2 Squire. So yeah, Llanowar Elves over more kitty cats. I'm standing by it. I like it. Only one Cavern of Soul. That's not going to hold you up too often. The one of Collar of Pride, I do think if we had 2 of these, then it probably wouldn't have worked that well. Huh. Which is weird to say because like it was also our only hope against those super explosive aggro deck lists too. Not our only hope necessarily, but more removal also could have worked well. And maybe this is the type of deck list that also wants Sheltered by Ghosts. I've been playing a lot of Sheltered by Ghosts recently. The lifelink and ward really come in handy and all that. Picking up non-land permanents, of course, really comes in handy too. And the ward onto the Squire could be really, really excellent. But opting for Hunter's Talent and Get Lost, I don't know. I like playing with different things, you know? Playing with different things every now and then. And it's been a while since we tried Hunter's Talent. I still like it. I really like that the level 2 works well with the Kutzil, and then it's just acting as more card draw, which again, this deck list is trying to dump its hand onto the board. So if you do run out of cards in your hand, it's going to be pretty important. And I think it won't be too hard to have power 4 or greater on the board, thanks to the Squire and thanks to the extra boosts on Arahbo and everything, right? And the Regal Caracal also boosting everything. The lifelink here too. If you are up against those super aggressive deck lists and you actually get to your turn 5, then just having all of your kitty cats have lifelink actually seems really good and would pull you right back into those games. If you are getting to turn 5 against Burn, you're almost dead. It's like you're 1 turn away. So hopefully you're playing Caracal, getting a swing, getting some lifelink, surviving that turn, and then you just pull ahead from there. It's really easy for the opponent to burn around the Caracal too. So it's just a 3/3. But at least it's coming in with other lifelink cats too. Since it is just a 3/3, the other boosts like the Arahbo and everything really come in handy. If you already have this on the board, then it's a 4/4, which is very important. And if it doesn't have to be turn 5, by the way, we have Ramp in here, Twitching Doll, and Llanowar Elves. It could be a turn 4 Caracal or a turn 3 Caracal, right? Llanowar Elves on 1, Twitching Doll on 2, and then if by some miracle they survive, turn 3 land. Turn 3 Caracal. I guess that's possible. It is a line in here, so doubling season. I still like this as a 2 of on the top end. All the tokens, all the counters, tokens on Twitching Doll, tokens on Arahbo, and then +1 counters on Sovereign, Ajani, Squire. It's actually kind of crazy to think about, right? Restless Prairie. It's only a 2 of in here, and it's a good reason it's not a 4 of. I was concerned that it coming out tapped was going to hurt this deck list in particular, right? I mean, when you are rocking early ramp, then it's the type of deck where you totally want to play out untapped mana and actually utilize that early ramp. But we saw in that last game how important it is to have these restless lands sometimes, even though it does hold you up in some games. There's going to be other games where it's the only reason you win. So I like the 2 of a lot. Cavern of Souls is probably unnecessary. We could potentially drop this and be totally fine. However, there's going to be games where you do call Cat and it does save you from some counter spells. And that's one of the tricky instances of balancing your mana base for best of 1 games. You just never know what you're going to be up against. And so having some 1-ofs in the deck list can really help out sometimes, but also might be a little bit unnecessary too. I could see, first of all, a second Get Lost would really help too, I think. I think that overall the deck list performed how I wanted it to perform, and I kind of feel like we got a little unlucky too in some of those games. You guys got to let me know in the comments if you agree with that, because another thing too, the curve is pretty beautiful, right? A lot of 1-drops, and we're peeking out over the 2-drops, and then we're going nice and easy into our top end, which is actually really cool. I love Kutzil. I think a 3 of these make a lot of sense. I think if we drop something, it would be on the top end anyways, as we're trying to ramp into them, sure, but also you're trying to ramp into multiple things on the same turn too. So multiple 2-drops, for example. Play Squire, Helpful Hunter. Helpful Hunter replaces itself. Squire gets a boost. That's your turn 4. You're pretty happy about that, honestly. Maybe your turn 3 was a Kutzil. You're starting to get set up really well. Maybe your turn 3 was an Arahbo. You're really starting to get set up really well, right? So we have just really powerful lines of play. maybe doubling seasons too late in the game for what the deck list is trying to do. The problem is just, I really like how it pairs with everything in here, man. I really do. Also, going turn 4 Ajani, or turn 3, or turn 2, turn 1 Llanowar Elves, play your second land on turn 2, then play Ajani with completed, right? Turn 2, 4-drop Ajani, and then you can go plus, because it enters with 2 fewer loyalty counters. It'll have 2. You go plus, find a creature. You have -3 on your turn 3 then at that point too. But you probably just go plus a few turns in a row because that's so early in the game to have Ajani. So you just go plus again, get it up to that 4 anyways. You got a couple card value off of it, hopefully, and then -3 on that turn 3 or 4. Anyways, I really like the 3 Ajani Sleeper Agents. Anyways, guys, the Sovereign is something we could cut for the other Get Lost, and I don't think you're going to be mad about that at all. And at that point too, the Get Lost can be your spot removal of choice. Hunter's Talent can be your spot removal of choice for sure. And I'm looking at that Sheltered by Ghosts, man. It's been terrific. I think it'll be pretty good in here too. I'm actually not going to change anything this time around, but yeah, that's if I were to change anything, that's what I would change. Drop the Sovereign. It's going to do a thing here and there, but being just a one-of kitty cat on the top end, it's not going to do as much as you would hope. It's not going to do as much as a Get Lost. Actually, okay, I'll change it. We're dropping a Mythic, which breaks my heart a little bit. But, I mean, we were getting picked apart in those early games. It's another one of those things, too, where, yeah, we're ramping into our top end, but we're also ramping into multiple 2-drops. And that also means there's going to be games where you go Helpful Hunter on your turn 4 while keeping the Get Lost open. So you're kind of considering that a 4-drop at that point, too. It's not a 4-drop, but you guys know what I mean. Twitching Doll, why couldn't this be a spider cat toy, right? Because it's like, it looks like a kitty cat. You know what I mean? Man, that would be really cool. And I think if it was a cat, I'd probably have more of these. But then there would be a serious amount of 2-drops packed in, so that probably wouldn't work. Yeah, Hunter's Talent, I'm going to keep. This could be the Sheltered by Ghosts, I guess. And funny enough, yesterday's Soldier video ran 2 Get Lost and 2 Sheltered by Ghosts, and I was very satisfied with having 2 of each of those in there. And I think it would be pretty good in here too. But just note that if you drop the Hunter's Talent, you're dropping green sources. You'd probably still be fine for the mana base, but something noteworthy is, of course, Llanowar Elves isn't mana fixing. It's only tapping for green. And so having green removal still makes a lot of sense to me. And on that note, Sheltered by Ghosts can't draw you stuff in the late game as well. And we really are trying to be sustainable. So, yeah. The Verge didn't hold us up. And that's another thing, too. Since Verge is only a green source until you have a Plains or a Forest, and Fabled Passage helping you grab those, of course, then if you do drop Hunter's Talent, you probably would want to drop a Forest and go up a Plains. If you drop the Talent and go up some Sheltered by Ghosts, because, yeah, the Verge is kind of acting as forests in here as well. You'd still want the 1 forest, though. That way, if you do need multiple green sources for the hand you saw, you can still grab them with the Fabled Passage and stuff, too. Woo, buddy, lots of stuff to talk about here. I like the decision to go up the Get Lost. Just more removal in general usually helps deck lists. It does depend, though. There are some deck lists that realistically don't need too much removal. But still, this is not too much removal. It's not a lot at all. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed the deck list as much as I did. Love this style of deck list, man. We gotta revisit kitty cats again soon. Maybe not go Selesnya this time. Maybe we'll try something different. Generally speaking, though, the kitty cat deck lists are gonna have white in it because Skyknight Squire and Arahbo are probably still gonna be the build around, and at that point too, I haven't visited the life gain side of kitty cats yet, so that could be fun. Okay, guys, if you made it this far into the video for real, y'all are champions. I super duper appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next video.